Okay.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I actually wanted all of you to meet Colm. Colm is today finishing his plasma rich platelet session, and this is actually for a very strange pain presentation, and I wanted actually to share his experience with you. Colm is a fitness instructor and he's actually very well informed about what he's talking about. So Colm, tell us what's your experience, when the pain started and where was the pain?
So my pain would have started back in 2021. It was actually the day before my daughter was born. What happened to me was I ended up coughing. I had a cough that week and I coughed and my chest all clicked.
Yeah.
And I knew from training and stuff like that this was not something that is normal. It's not. So I went to the doctor that week and it was right at the start of COVID, so very few doctors would check you or physically examine you. It was very difficult to get appointments, so it ran on for a while where the issue was there, but no one was able to really kind of identify what it was. So we left it I went on training. I kept continuing on doing what I do, teaching fitness classes, working out, playing football, and eventually it kept progressing to where there was a point where everything felt wrong in my chest. The best way I keep on describing it is when you go out on a frosty morning, that burning feeling in your chest was constantly there. So then I eventually got another doctor, Conor Lynham, and he got me into you, who fixed everything, which has been great. And then we started from there, obviously, with our treatment.
And when was the pain?
So my pain predominantly was here in the center of my chest. It very much felt like there was something either out of place. It always felt like there was a lump or a swelling or something there. And every time I trained or every time I was doing exercise, you'd feel that there was almost like a resistance, like an elastic band pulling back at your ribs and stuff like that. So it was very difficult to kind of get training really, really hard, because you'd feel that you were getting like very out of breath and very struggling.
And it was actually extending the whole way to the left to
to
where
my whole
I
left
think
side.
It was just
so
all of this and all of this. Isn't it?
So when I would lift weights, this arm, so if I was lifting weights up or I was lifting weights overhead, anytime I would lift to there or I pulled the weight to here, strain would come from my chest going out, down my bicep, and it would go into my forearm. And then it continued to the point where it would almost wrap fully around my bicep, into my tricep and down my forearm and into my fingers. So my fingers would start getting pins and needles as well.
And even your stomach area here had some issues, crunching sensation.
So sitting up or doing sit-ups or sometimes even squatting with heavy weight, if I tilted or I was forward tilting, that this crunch would come right here. It's like you crack your knuckles, that kind of sensation.
It seems all started after a heavy cough. During the COVID.
During COVID, coughing, and I think it could have been an injury from football. It could have been something small, but that coughing started it, triggered it, and then because I didn't get into know with it for almost a year before we met, it spiraled and it got worse to the point of where even when we did our first session, I think my whole chest was inflamed. And all across into my ribs were inflamed.
Actually Colm is a very unique case of chronic pain management, and the pain was extending in all left side of the chest, very, very big area. I couldn't actually, or I tried to figure out whether it is muscle, is it his sternum, is it his nerves, because the pain was so huge, extended, and even to the arm. And the reason is very unusual to have that type of pain after a cough. So the first message is really the GP. Conor is an extremely excellent GP. Conor actually listened to him, and Colm is so happy that his GP has listened to his complaint. And when he sent you to me, I think your problem as well, it affects your work, because that you are a fitness instructor, you couldn't do the job basically. Yes, and you are very hard worker. You keep going and doing things despite the pain. This is one of his personality. So first message, if there is a chronic pain for a year or more than 3 months, what is the message? Don't let it go.
Don't let it go. You know, a lot of people know their bodies. Especially, I suppose I am unique that I've trained to. I know the difference between a muscular pain of where I've trained.
Yes.
I know a pain when it's a pain that this is hurt.
Yeah.
It's an impact pain or something like that. And this was a pain that was not. It was not a good pain.
No.
So listen to your body. Your body will kind of go, right, okay, something's wrong here. And if you keep on pushing like I did,
Yeah.
more problems will happen.
Yeah.
So that's
And
it.
of course, you had a lot of physiotherapy sessions.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
what was the experience after physio? It gave you relief for how long?
It'll give you, well, you wouldn't have relief for the next day because you would have pain from the physio session. You'd find you'd have a lot of pain from probably being rubbed out, and then you'd find that maybe